At the start of the movie, we see a girl named Claire. Claire has come to a pharmaceutical company as a test subject. Along with her, many other people also came to the same company as test subjects. Those medicines that are not yet launched on the market will get tested on these subjects first to see if they are safe or not. These test subjects get a lot of money because they risk their lives for it. All the people there are brought to a room, and a doctor named Rosie meets them there. She is the one leading this experiment, and she tells them they will be kept there for 5 days, and each day the dose of the medicine will be increased. The last day they will be given an 85 milligram dose, and if it is safe, they will be sent home along with a hefty paycheck. But the caveat is that they can't leave the facility until the experiment is over. The subjects are administered the test medicine, following which individuals undergo a series of tests a few hours later to assess their response. These tests include examinations such as blood pressure checks, urine analysis, and blood tests. Initially, everything appears to be within normal parameters. Suddenly, Claire feels nauseated and rushes to the toilet. There she meets Amir, who tells her he is a medical student and has been a part of a similar experiment before. As night falls, everyone attempts to rest but can't fall asleep. Strange phenomena begin to happen, with test subjects experiencing hallucinations. These participants have gone without sleep for 2 days, and fear grips them as they question their involvement in the experiment. Meanwhile, Dr. Rosie talks with her higher-ups, expressing concern over the effects of the medicine on the central nervous system of the test subjects. Reviewing MRI reports, she observes effects that could potentially endanger their lives. Dr. Rosie asks for clarification on the nature of the medicine, believing it cannot be intended for infection, as she was told. However, instead of disclosing the true nature of the medication, the authorities responsible for the test instruct her to increase the dosage administered to the test subjects. Despite her reluctance, Dr. Rosie complies with the directives from the company authorities. When the participants inquire about the increased dosage, Dr. Rosie explains that the company has revised the rules and offers a substantial bonus of 30,000 euros in exchange for taking the medication. Excited by the offer, the participants took the tablets without hesitation. Having already endured 4 sleepless days, the participants begin to feel drowsy and unwell after ingesting the increased dosage. Dr. Rosie reports their deteriorating condition to the company authorities, but they insist on further increasing the dosage. Recognizing the sinister intentions of the authorities, the doctors realize that continuing to increase the dosage could have fatal consequences for the participants. Amir, who is a test subject who is also a medical student, overhears Dr. Rosie's conversation and becomes alarmed. He gathers all the data, including MRI reports, and stores it on a pen drive. Reviewing the MRI reports, Amir becomes deeply concerned about the severe effects of the medication on their mental health. He realizes that if the dosage continues to be increased, the participants could fall into a coma or worse. As soon as Amir transfers the data to another pen drive, the news reaches the company authorities, prompting them to initiate a 24-hour lockdown in the facility. Claire finds a fellow subject sleeping while sitting on a chair. She shakes her and is horrified to find her covered in blood coming from her nose and eyes, having died in her sleep due to the medication's effects. The group and Dr. Rosie are now trapped in the facility. Desperate to escape, the individuals trapped in the facility make futile attempts to flee, but all efforts prove unsuccessful. Tragically, Dr. Rosie also succumbs to the chaos. She gets trapped in a door while escaping and passes away. Amidst the turmoil, Amir gathers everyone and reveals that he has accessed their medical reports from the doctor's computer, uncovering the true purpose of the medication, to keep them awake. They haven't slept for so long, and their brain is trying to put them to sleep while this medicine is preventing them from falling asleep. Amir urges them to stay vigilant. He explains that the medication is designed to prevent them from falling asleep, and if they succumb to sleep, the medication will shut down their brains, resulting in death. Determined to survive, the group resolves to stay awake, realizing that they must remain conscious for 24 hours to counteract the effects of the drug, after which the effect of the medicine will be reduced and they will be able to escape and get treated. After that, even if they fall into a coma, there is still a chance of recovery. They brace themselves for a challenging ordeal, determined to outlast the effects of the medication and secure their freedom. Amir finds some medication within the facility that can counteract the effects of the test drug and distributes it among the group, advising them to use it only as a last resort when their sleep deprivation becomes uncontrollable. They all get busy trying different things to keep their minds awake. Despite their efforts to stay awake, prolonged sleep deprivation leads to hallucinations. Amir himself experiences hallucinations, seeing the deceased Dr. Rosie and approaching him. However, he manages to regain control of his mind before succumbing to the illusion. Another individual also begins to hallucinate, hearing a mysterious voice emanating from a dark room. Drawn by the voice, he ventures into the darkness only to suffer a fatal breakdown, bleeding from his eyes, ears, and mouth, indicating that he has succumbed to sleep, and the test medication has disabled his brain. As exhaustion sets in, Claire, struggling to fight off drowsiness, resorts to burning her hand on a stove to stay awake. Expressing doubt about their ability to survive the full 24 hours, she urges the group to find a way out of the facility. Together, they attempt to break through a door-like structure, but their efforts yield no fruit. Increasingly plagued by the effects of the medication, they grapple with strange thoughts and sensations, their desperate bid for freedom overshadowed by the looming threat of sleep-induced death. As suspicions arise among the group, a girl accuses Amir of being complicit with the company due to his excessive knowledge of the situation. Believing him to possess information about their treatment, they tie him and subject him to physical torture. However, Amir insists that he is no different from them, merely a test subject caught in the same situation. Meanwhile, the two guys interrogate Amir, demanding to know the way out and threatening to kill him for not cooperating. Before they can carry out their threat, Claire intervenes, preventing them from harming Amir. Meanwhile, another girl, convinced of Amir's deception, resolves to kill him with a lethal sleep injection. However, she herself succumbs to hallucinations caused by the medication, losing control of her mind. Like the others before her, she meets a tragic end, bleeding from her eyes, mouth, and ears as she meets a tragic end. Claire begins approaching the brink of sleep, falling 90% asleep, and at the end of her capacity to resist the medication's effects, she manages to regain control of her mind and take the concocted medicine provided by Amir to stay awake. In a moment of clarity, she discovers a hidden door in the wall of the room they are in, and shares this discovery with her companions. Upon opening the door, they find themselves in a room designated for the storage of dead bodies, an old morgue complete with what they believe is a lift used to transport the bodies upstairs. Recognizing that they can use the lift to escape, the group decides to use it to descend further into the facility. Meanwhile, Amir experiences hallucinations in which he sees Dr. Rosie again, who manipulates his perceptions, urging him to believe that his companions have deceived him and are conspiring against him. Driven by paranoia and confusion, Amir becomes susceptible to these suggestions, prompting him to consider violent means against his fellow test subjects. As tensions rise among the group, one of their companions receives a letter from Amir, stating that he himself is the cause of the lockdown. This revelation incites anger in the man, who confronts Amir about the letter. However, before Amir can respond, the man attacks him, resulting in a violent struggle that ends with Amir overpowering and killing his attacker. Witnessing this fight, Claire and her remaining companion flee from Amir, fearing for their lives. They rush to the room they believe to be a lift, seeking refuge. As they manage to close the door behind them, a fire erupts inside the room. It becomes clear that the room is not a lift, but a crematorium where dead bodies are incinerated. Fortunately, the door was closed before Claire could get in, and she narrowly avoided the fire that erupts within the chamber. Now that the 24-hour lockdown imposed by the company has come to an end, the facility's doors suddenly open, allowing Claire and Amir to attempt their escape. However, their freedom is short-lived, as guards arrive and fatally shoot Amir on sight, following orders from the company to eliminate any survivors. In a desperate bid to evade capture, Claire disguises herself by donning the clothes of the dead bodies, hoping to blend in with the corpses being transported by the guards. As the guards load the bodies, including Claire's, into their van, she remains motionless, disguised as dead to avoid detection. During the journey, Claire seizes an opportunity to escape by standing up, startling the driver with her unexpected movement. In the ensuing panic, the driver loses control of the vehicle, resulting in a fatal accident. The driver loses his life, but Claire survives once again. In the end, Claire emerges as the sole survivor, having narrowly avoided the dangers that plagued their group within the facility. After the accident, Claire is left in a coma and is hospitalized. 4 years later, she remains in a comatose state, unaware of the events that transpired during her unconsciousness. Meanwhile, news reports reveal that the pharmaceutical company responsible for the experimental drug that caused the deaths of the 7 test subjects had managed to evade accountability by scapegoating Dr. Rosie. With the blame shifted solely onto Dr. Rosie, the company successfully closed the case, absolving themselves of any responsibility. In the final scene, Claire finally awakens from her coma. With Claire now conscious, there is hope that the true perpetrators behind the experimental drug and its deadly consequences will be held accountable for their actions. That's all for today, guys. Here are another 2 recap nest videos that are perfect for your taste. See you next time.